Thank God for the cloud. Gratitude for the cloud. What my friend Joanne calls a doona day. Comforter day if you're out of Australia. A doona day. And I'd never heard this concept. And in fact, because I'd never had one and, you know, wasn't even sure, well, would I just deserve a doona day? Wouldn't I have to do something or be something or create something before I could deserve a doona day? And that sent me really plummeting on a self-care and self-love journey, because I thought, why can't I just say, you know what, I need a day for me? What's coming up there that I'm not creating this boundary, this space for me, so everyone just knows that I don't need to justify or explain? Because what I found myself doing was that I would need to explain why to someone I was choosing to have a quiet day. You know, we call it a mental health day. My friend calls it a doona day. Now I call it Jackie Woo time, and I'm going to get to that and explain to you what that means exactly. But this is what was just fascinating for me, that I didn't have that in my life. So can any of you honestly tell me right now, do you have a really good section in your life that is for you, that's kind of where you take care of yourself? No explaining needed, no justification. It's just like, I'm switching off my phone. I'm taking a step back. I'm having a doona day. I couldn't imagine having a whole day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was so far from not having that. So Kate Vane had a doona day. Today is play day. I love that. I don't, but I'd love to start doing that. So maybe you can hear me on this too, Kelly. And so, and who else has got what they do out there? Let's just start with this. Kathy does, but she sometimes feels guilty for it. Got it. That was me, Kathy. Like, and I would never even have it to get guilty about. It would just be, you know, the world needs saving somehow. Linda needs to show up. Like, how absurd. So Fridays are my day. Started out with an hour, now up to half a day, sometimes book over the top of it, though still learning. I love that. Megs hasn't got it scheduled, so usually goes by the wayside. This was my challenge, Megs, and that's what we're going to touch on today. When my girls are with my dad, I embrace my self-care. That's awesome. Okay, so it's kind of a little forced, I guess, right? And so let me ask you this. Are you comfortable being with just you? Not doing, having, and being. Are you comfortable just being with you and not doing and having and being? I wasn't. And that's where a big deep dive had to start for me. Who was I if I wasn't doing and having and being and creating and impacting something? I got into a crazy cycle of that. I love being my own company. I love isolation. It's like my mum. My mum's having the best time in the world at the moment. Love being at home. Kathy's maybe like me, never used to be, but definitely in the habit of doing instead of being. What more of this is missing. Okay, I love that. So this has been my biggest, so Candace, this has been my biggest challenge yet. Learning to stay at home is learning to stay home with just me. Beautiful. Yeah, I love this. So I'm going to share with you something that has really helped me create different sections of my life, and I call on different parts of me to do it better. So if this makes sense, this was what I was trying to do. I was trying to have Linda the achiever, the one who gets stuff done, to try and have a day, a doona day. And she didn't want to. She didn't know anything about that. That wasn't her MO. That's not who she is. It's not how she shows up in the world. Can you hear I'm referring to her in the third person like she's not me? Which is strange, but stick with me. I would also have this one sort of high-paced person switch into mum mode, and I would also have this high-paced person expect everyone else around her to be like her. Can anyone relate to that? Now, I would find a few other high-paced buddies, to run with me on those times, but there was a lot of people in a lot of different phases of their day, their week, and depending on what season they're in, okay, and what age. So how about this? I came across, it was years ago, and it was a game changer for me, absolute game changer. And what it allowed me to do was to consider all the different parts of me, all the different modes, all the different personalities, let's call them, that I have in any one week or month. And am I using the correct personality for the best part of the day? I'm going to say that again. Was I using the best personality in the appropriate part of my day and week? Does it make sense? So there's my first example. Achiever Linda wasn't just going to have suddenly meditation, bliss out, grounded time on Friday. Make sense? Now, my super grounded, bliss out time people, their challenge when I'm coaching them is cranking up and getting into high productive mode on different times. Okay? So are you guys beginning to form a bit of an idea of all the different personalities and paces and styles that you have within you? So this is what I absolutely believe, and I know it to be true for me. And when I do this training, it's often so well received and lands so quickly. I love trainings and tools that are fast to learn and fast to implement in a good way. And personalities is my favorite thing that was a game changer for me. So what do I mean by personalities? This, I first came across this in India. It's part of the teaching of One World Academy and Oneness, which I came across them through Tony Robbins. So we were on a Tony Robbins Platinum trip, and we had the most incredible lineup of speakers there. But one of the teachings around personalities. And this is the question that they start with. So I'd love, if you guys have got a pen and paper handy, I'd love us to play with this for a little bit. And for those of you that have been with me a while, you've probably done this at some stage, at some training. But it's always, I need to have different, I'm checking in with myself this morning anyway and asking a better question like, how do I want today to be? I want today to be connected. I want today to be in flow. I want today to have some productivity. And I want today to be restful and contained, if that makes sense. So here's the thing. I get to have it be how I want it to be if I'm intentional. Does that make sense? Now, is the day going to own me, or am I going to own the day, depending on what I do in the morning? I guarantee you that the day will own you every single time that you're not intentional about your diary and your day. You'll be in reaction. Am I right? Every message that you get that you didn't know was coming in, you will stop doing what you're doing, you'll answer the message. Someone just got your time and they didn't have to even try. The phone rings, the doorbell rings, you know, someone else has got their thing over here that's suddenly urgent, but it's not really. Does everyone get me how your days can be robbed if you're not standing guard of them? Yeah? So this was the game changer for me, emotionally, spiritually, and with production. So that ticked all the boxes for me, and this is why it's one of my favorite things to teach. I want you to think about all your different personalities. So let's just, I totally believe we all have multiple personalities. If you ask your husband or your partner, he could probably describe a few. And if you were being playful and open to that, he could probably name them as well, right? There's your feminine, cheeky, playful self, the one that he likely fell in love with. That was girly and free and, you know, light and open and in flow. Then there would be your kids could probably name two types of mum. There's the nurturing, soft, connected mum. And then there's the, you know, when you use their middle name and it's like, you better do this. And there's a little bit of yell and like, you better listen right now of what has to happen, right? And that's when my boy, I'm just thinking, what do they say to me? Tom will go, oh my God, so grumpy. So that's grumpy mum, you know, if I was to call her uptight, grumpy mum. So as you're writing these down, then think of career. Think of all the roles that you play, all the hats that you wear in your career. Now, many of you on the line work from home and work in a home-based business. So it's particularly insightful how many hats that we wear over one day. How many hats are we wearing while kids are in isolation with us? Let's just go through them. Give me your job descriptions over in the chat box. We're doing less taxiing, but there's still some. What other things? Who's a teacher at the moment? Primary school teacher, yeah? Or high school teacher. Maybe you have to be both like we are. Counsellor, yes. Coach, who has to be a physical education teacher? Yep. Referee. Yep. A psychologist, a lion tamer, Kate Vane. It's too true. Cook, a cleaner. Yep. Organising things. And on top of that, we still have to be wifey. For those of you that you know are married or have a partner, we still may have to be a friend. Has anyone got some friends really having a meltdown right now that just need some great support, right? Negotiations expert. Who's a leader? Who's got people in their team who are looking to them as well for production, for, you know, flow, for empowerment, for belief, for hope? Positive, high vibe leader. Now, would you agree today when I woke up, I don't feel like a positive, high vibe leader? And this is what used to happen. I used to, in the past, would have forced my way through that. Just shown up, put my music on, forced it, show up, it's work time, let's go. But then part of you that you stuff that down in doesn't get dealt with. Who can feel what I'm saying? So now what I do is recognize and ask a better question of who needs to be in the driver's seat right now? And so I asked my question this morning as I was having a shower. You know, who do these women need today? They need to see someone who's real, who's in truth, who's in flow, who's not forcing something or pretending, who's leading a conversation about, gee, we're amazing with all the hats that we wear, and here's some tips and how can we do it better. Does it make sense? Rather than, right, today, here we go, it's go time. So I'm honoring where I'm at emotionally, physically, spiritually, and I can ask, well, who do they need? And who do I need to be in the driver's seat right now? Make sense? So here's another great example. Who do my kids want? When oh, Mum, have you got another call? We wanted to go to the beach because we went to the beach yesterday. And I said, yeah, I've got a call today. I'm not sure the beach looks amazing yet, but let's talk about it after I'm off my call. You know, you make breakfast and you do this. And I can be in a gentle mode, and mama bear mode is very, very different to like the drill sergeant. You know, the one who is saying the kid's middle name and the finger comes out and the voice gets a little bit of yell louder and all of that, okay? Now, would you agree that when we're in mama bear and your kids feel heard and connected and seen and understood, we don't need to yell? But we're not always resourceful to get to the slower, connected mama bear. Does this make sense? You guys just stick with me of where we're going with this, okay? So you've identified all the different roles that you're playing over the day. And imagine if, this is why we're going to do what we do. Imagine if when you get up in the morning, you have 3 to 4 major personalities that you are going to call on, bring about, put in the driver's seat, nurture, welcome, and they're the ones that are going to show up. You're actually bringing out a part of you that already exists, but you're being conscious and intentional about being that person in that part of life. Does this make sense? So if I was going to do a high-level coaching call right now, let's just say that I had to be a leader of leaders because we were having a huge crisis, which was, you know, just a few weeks ago. There was a lot of things happening and I had to show up in a certain way. My outcome was different. My energy and physiology and posture was different. If I'm in be a leader of leaders, my certainty is different. My outcome is different. Does that make sense? Who's Tony trained? But you know the triad: physiology, language, focus. So my leader of leaders, she has her own language. My physiology is what? Am I all flowy in my skirt, you know, with some of my things on and my candles? Sometimes I can be a flow badass leader, but I need to show up in a different way when it's time. I'll give you another example. When it's time for wifey, does my husband want the leader of leaders at 8 o'clock on the couch to watch Netflix with? Nope. Does he want mama bear? Nope. Only if he's really sooky, which isn't very often. Does he want the little playful girl? Maybe. Wifey is the more mature version of her. Does this make sense? So I need to switch when it's wifey time. I need to switch. I need to consciously think about what's the best part of me now. So here's where I'm going with all of this. My calendar reflects my colored personalities. And I am intentional about doing that. So with our remaining time, actually I'm doing well on time, would you guys be interested in doing a rough version of this for yourself and trying it out over this next week, at least the next few days? Yeah? There doesn't seem to be much feedback there. Renelle does. Okay. Here's why this was a game changer for me. All of the stresses of what I thought I should be doing, I got them down on paper and started to categorize them and do, delegate, dump, and then go, oh, look, what's really important for me today is to be mama bear, to be teacher mama. There's a new personality that I need to bring in right now. Teacher mum. And so I'm intentionally and consciously thinking about, because the last week, this has been the parent. I don't care about your schoolwork, we'll catch up. Just read a book. Get off that device and read a book. And next week when it's easier, we will catch up. We will smash it, in fact, okay? Just trust me. That's been my last week. Anyone else sort of like that? Yeah, I'll confess, I'm not a big one for school and I've never been a big one for homework. I've got a rebel inside me. So a rebel is one of my personalities that is not appropriate in lots of parts of life. Would you agree? So she needed to be retired. She was not mature and she didn't get many of her outcomes. Make sense? Okay, so you're with me. Some of the personalities that you have right now absolutely serve you. Some need a bigger part in your life. And some are not serving you. They're taking away. They're not getting their outcome. They're causing more stress and they need to be retired. They need to be sent off. They need to be put on a holiday, given a goodbye ceremony, retirement ceremony. Some people need to kill theirs off, which I just think sounds a bit violent and dramatic. But now, what do I mean by this? I want you to write down all the different roles or names. Who's already thinking of names? So I've got Mama Bear, I've got Wifey, I had Stressed Out Sally. Stressed Out Sally was the one that was so rigid, always had a sore neck, was never got enough done, was in a stress, fight and flight mode for a lot of the time, was always trying to be, do and have for others so then she'd be enough. And her mode was to try and just control her way through life. Some have a Debbie Downer. I don't have too much of a Debbie Downer. Sometimes. I would have the critique, the critic, the person who was always judging and like a Judge Judy. Judging others, judging kids, judging husbands, judging neighbours. They should. If you have a lot of shoulds in life for other people, you may have the judge in your driver's seat. It could be the victim. Now, it could be fear. It's like Inside Out. Who's seen that cute little cartoon with joy and sadness and angry? Renelle, nagging Nelly, exactly. Okay, so it's like all those little voices in your head. There's a few main characters in your movie, okay? There's a few main characters. So my question is, are they the best characters? If you look at your top 3 one-year goals and where you want to head in life and how you want to show up, are the main characters the best ones to be center stage in your movie? Is that too many metaphors? So I had Boss Lady. So for my work time, I had Boss Lady, and she was maybe 60, 70, 80% of my life was Boss Lady. And guess what? She served me well. She got so much shit done. She didn't take any crap. She was like a bull to just get things done and get out of my way. Like she had so many benefits. So I didn't want to get rid of Boss Lady, but I knew that she was taking up too much of my life and my space. Is everyone with me? And then, who else did I have in there? The Stressed Out Sally. You might have Debbie Downer. You might have Velma the victim. Oh, man. Now, Velma the victim, this was even hard to recognize her. Velma the victim would literally just want everything to be different and it was someone else's fault of why things weren't how I wanted them to be. Straight to victim and blame. Make sense? So there could be the judge, the blamer, the stickler, the controller, the perfectionist. Some of you, in fact, I know quite a few of you have the perfectionist, and that means that you're just crazy in your head all day. Perfection is the lowest form because there's no such thing as perfect. So it's the impossible standard that you never get to start. I'm really happy I don't have a perfectionist because that's a painful one. Is everyone with me so far? This is your self-analysis right now, and it's not complex. It's actually easy. You know these characters really well. You know what they say. You know their posture. You know how they dress. Do you dress a certain way on some days? Right? You do. We dress a certain way. And they say certain things. Let's meet some of our characters. Who knows one of your main characters? And what does she say? Right? The boss lady, leaders maximize resources. She had like 100 sayings to get up and go during the day and not tolerate any nonsense, right? But then imagine when you've got boss lady right here and then you've got Velma the victim over here and they're really all just parts of me. Do you think there's inner conflict? Do you think that these two don't like each other, don't respect each other, and certainly don't love each other and recognize each other's values of why they're there? Yes. I'm not getting too deep and complex today, but what we're going to stick to is, okay, so Kate Vayner's got the Get Shit Done girl. What's her name, Kate? Let's give her a name. The most powerful thing that we can do together is for you to give them a name. Don't overthink it. Don't make it perfect. Just give her a name. Maybe you've got Anxious Annie, right? Fearful Frida. Who do you have? Let's meet some of the names. Come on, this is fun. Energizer Bunny, active wear, loves working out, and then the rest of the day runs around cleaning. Right, okay, I like that. So what would you call her, Kelly? I love that. Okay, Janae's got Sexy Sally, very nice, owning her feminine side, which is very, very important. And she needs to show up for who? See how she's very appropriate in one area of life. In fact, she's very powerful, very appropriate, not only for others, but for you. Scroll hole Sally. I love that. Okay, it's Scroll hole Sally. If I look at each of these, guess what? They have their top need that they're trying to meet, and they just find different vehicles on how to do it. So Scroll hole Sally, for instance, she's looking for connection, right? Easy connection that doesn't like take anything to just get lost and distracted. It's not in a way that's good for you and good for others. Would you agree? So this is where you can begin to kind of, we have our detective, what's that called? Magnifying glass. We have our magnifying glass. We have our spotlight of truth. And we kind of want to start looking into why is she in the driver's seat so much? Why is this one constantly cleaning and so high vibe? Now you might say, now let's get our circles down. So let's do this together. I'm going to stop explaining and we're just going to start doing. We're going to learn by doing now. My husband hates when I write in his book, but he's not here. That's a tiny bit of the naughty rebel. Okay. The fun stuff, fun and vibrant. Critical Karen, Moaning Myrtle, Fun Mika. These are great names. Nourished Nev. Okay, these are great names. And I can tell you've done this before, Kate. It is very important to name them. Here's why. If I want my dog to come, what do? When I want one person in my house to come, what do? Do I telepathically go, I want this one? No, I call it out. I go, Coco, Daisy, Grace. We must call on their name. So this is what you're going to do. In circles, you're going to represent kind of the size circle that you think that personality is taking up in your life. Make sense? So for me, I've got Mama Bear. I've got, now, because I've been doing this a while and I love this and I teach this quite a lot, it's a good time for me to reassess, because are the next few weeks going to be different than most other weeks that we've experienced? Yes. So as I was asking in the shower this morning, which is where I set up my day and quality questions, do I need another personality? Do I need to schedule in another part of me to really thrive in these unprecedented and unique times? Notice my word choice. I'm not saying crisis. I'm not saying crazy. I'm not saying uncertain. I'm not saying any of that, because they don't make me feel good. Words have power. So I'm saying unique, and I'm saying unique and unprecedented. Well, that's okay. I'm okay with unprecedented. Interesting. Another great. Yeah. Unique. Okay. So see my circles? And then I've got Mama Bear. I've got Wifey would be about this big. I've got, now, you know who always gets missing off the side? And that's why I'm feeling like I need to go within today. Jackie Woo. So that's my part of me that is my 7-year-old, and she's beyond wise. She knows who she is. She's fun. She's in flow. Anytime I need my best wisdom, I close my eyes and connect with her next to this beautiful tree and can literally ask, what do I need to do? What do I need to remember? Right? It's source to me. But in my younger self, when I was always being, silly and crazy and wild as a child and felt love, my dad named her all those years ago. I'm just renaming her and bringing her back. Does that make sense? For some reason, he called me Jackie Woo. When I was off running around and having fun, he would notice Jackie Woo. And when I remembered this, my face just exploded with the biggest smile of, I know her. I am her. She needs to come back in life. My kids love her because she's the one that will be dive bombing in the pool and climbing trees and doing all the things that I forgot and didn't place importance with my kids. Does it make sense? So this stuff is powerful and this stuff works. Then there's Lindy Lou. Lindy Lou would never sit and have a cuppa without needing to explain to someone what she was doing. Does it make sense? One day, here's how I knew I needed someone called Lindy Lou, because I had this hot, heaving, sweaty plumber come in who was so negative, and all he did was complain about how he hates going in roofs. Not plumber, electrician. He was coming here to put up a chandelier, and we live in a really beautiful big house, and it's been our dream house for most of our life. We've worked towards living where we are now. And we were still probably only 6 months in. And I remember it was so interesting, and this is how this work is just so beautiful when you keep practicing it. I remember having this feeling of him judging me. I've got no clue if he was. And first of all, why do I care about him? Second of all, I had this moment when he was hanging the chandelier that I had just made time for Lindy Lou, my feminine, get in touch with me, have time with me, slow down, connect with me. And I had bought myself a magazine and a cup of tea, and I was sitting over in the chair, and I had scheduled this pink time in my calendar, which is what I'm going to show you how to do. And then this guy kept coming in, and every time he would come in, I felt like I needed to go and clean the kitchen or do something, maybe, get him a drink or, but you know what I really wanted to do? And this is so bizarre. It's just so funny. I felt like I needed to explain to this guy, hey, I work for this, mate. I worked my tail off for this. I'm not some house-kept wife just lush sitting about all day, getting people to hang chandeliers and have a cup of tea. No, I work for this. I literally, there was some weird part of me that wanted to tell him that. Is that just so bizarre? I didn't realize at the time, but speaking with my coach, she's like, oh, well, oh dear. She's so funny. She's like, oh dear, well, we need to change that. You need to have a person who she doesn't need to explain to anyone at any time why she's taking care of herself. No. Well, who's that going to be? Who doesn't need to explain this? Who doesn't need to? And then I was like, right, I totally need that girl. And so that is where Lindy Lou was born, because that, again, she's feminine and she's in flow and she's wild and she doesn't need to explain to anyone, like, back off. I'm with me right now. There's no one more important. So what I realized was, who was in the driver's seat? I was judging. Who was I actually judging? Me. I was judging me. Do, be, have, create. You can't just sit around, or that person might think you're not enough. They might judge you. Who cares? I was still holding on to caring what people were thinking. Even a tradesman who came into our house, I was still trying to prove something. Are you with me? Now, when you're brave enough to start looking at these personalities and going, why are you here? Are you the appropriate one that I need? Is this the size circle that you need to be having in my life? So boss lady was 80%. Mama bear was 20%. Who else did I have? Stressed out Sally was the rest. So could you tell who I was, how I was showing up, what kind of life I had at that time? If you were to look at my circles several years ago, can you imagine? Can you get a bit of a picture? Here's the freedom in doing this exercise. You get to see your gaps. You get to see where your pain, frustration, stress comes from, and you get to change it. Right? How cool is that? So I want you to represent, just really quick, don't overthink it, your top 4 or 5 personalities and give them a circle size. Okay? And if you show me your calendar, I'll show you the circle size of who's in the driver's seat. Good or bad? What does that mean, Kate? All of them, sorry. All your personalities. I want all the players in the play. All of them. So stressed out Sally. Who else? Yes, all the recordings are in the albums of my Facebook page. Who else have you girls got in there? If I go up to, no, on my personal Linda Evenden Facebook page that everyone can follow. Everyone's welcome. So they're public. Let's have a look. The Ringmaster. I love this. Right. Who else have we got? Oh, that's all the roles you're playing. So I'm just trying to find some of your names that you guys were creating that I loved it. So Kelly, your Energizer Bunny. I mean, this is great. It looks like she's a very helpful personality to have in the driver's seat most of the time, or some of the time. Who wants to play with me here for a moment while we look at your circle sizes? Judge Jenny. Okay. So, yep, pop Judge Jenny in. Who else? Gemini girl. Very nice. She sounds like she's very helpful personality. Yeah? Now, it's not that you're never going to be stressed out again. Does this make sense? So stressed out Sally is still there. She will rear her head when in very stressful times, uncertain times, and where there's fear takes over. Okay, you've got your backseat drivers that show up when you're in fear and you're not being resourceful. The challenge is when they are the big circles in your life. Now, isn't it easy to look at other people's lives and name their personalities? It's really easy to do this for someone else, right? She's this person most of the time, and that's why her life's not going according to plan, right? Now, when you can be brave enough and do this for you and you recognize which personalities are not serving me across life. Yep, kick-ass Kiki. Which ones can you actually recognize are causing you pain? And they're causing others around you pain. Some of these we can kind of give an upgrade. It's like taking them to the spa. We give them an upgrade. So for instance, who's got one that you know is messing things up? Whether it's anxious Annie, fearful, angry, and yes, fearful, Frida, any of those other emotions, the controlling Kathy, right. Imagine, Kathy, if we were, so controlling Kathy, what's happening here is controlling Kathy is going for which top need? Tired Tessie.
She's going for certainty.
Yes, very nice. And so when we can, are there more healthful ways that you can be intentional about to gain certainty? Inner rituals, instead of trying to control the outer world, you can meet your need for certainty in a more helpful way. So here's the thing. Here's what I noticed. Oh, that was it. I had Mary the Martyr. Mary the Martyr was about 30%. She had quite a big circle. Now, Mary the Martyr was another version of my mother. And here's the kind of things that she would say. Oh, what do I always have to do it all? Why can't they? Why does everyone need me all the time? Well, this is my cross to bear, you know, and literally, here's my pain. Here's my heaviness of, oh, look, typical. I do everything and they do nothing. Ha, typical. Look at this. So Mary the Martyr is really going for self-love, to be enough, to have significance, and she's doing it in a really crummy way. Same as Velma the victim. Does this make sense? So when you're meeting these needs in a much higher way, they won't need to show up. Mary the Martyr shows up when I don't take care of myself. The controller will show up when I'm not planning my week and month, when I'm not scheduling properly, when I believe the illusion that I can control others around me, and when I believe the illusion that I'm responsible for everyone. Makes sense? Mary the Martyr, she's the one that believes that she's responsible for everyone all the time. How heavy is that? Imagine living with that person. So who do you have that's maybe hard to live with for you as well? Who's on the lost Lola, feeling overwhelmed, not knowing what direction life is, running around in circles. Beautiful, Claire. Because when you can identify that, it's just a pattern. It's not you. It's just a pattern. It's just a triad. It's a story that you've been telling and believing. It starts with a thought, and then you tell it so often that you become that. You experience it every day. Does it make sense? So you experience the feeling of overwhelm and being lost and chasing your tail and just being in a circle, so you never move forward, or very rarely, right? And it's just a story. So what do you think that Lost Lola is actually going for too? Not moving forward, just going around and around and around. It's just, my hallucination is that that's going for certainty as well. I just want to stay right here in a nice, safe comfort zone. Okay, we've got all these different vehicles, all these different ways that we do it, but ultimately we're just meeting some needs. Okay. Scatterbrain, always so much to do, messy piles of work to do, can't think of a name for her. So what's the emotion that she's feeling most of the time, Renelle? So all of the personalities have a predominant emotion or need. Mama Bear is connection with my kids. Wifey is love connection with my husband. The leader of leaders is certainty and significance. Who else have I got? Lindy Lou is love and connection with herself. Calamity Jane, and believe me, I had to bring in Calamity Jane, one of my early childhood role models. I mean, this stuff is so fun when you get to it. So Renelle, what's the feeling? Just what's the overall feeling when there's so much to do and it never ends and you feel scattered and there's messy piles of work to do? What's the actual, if you close your eyes, what's the feeling? Oh, there's that feeling again.
I guess it's more so of a tightness of a chest and like, you know, no breathing kind of
And what
thing.
does she say?
There's always so much to do. When will
There you go. Let's just work with this for a moment. Does anyone else relate to this personality? You have a version of this personality. There's always so much to do. What else does she say?
When's it ever going to end? Like, can't see through the piles. Where do I start? So I guess like the whole direction thing, like.
And what do you think? How does she want to feel?
Clarity, organized, like getting shit done.
Yep.
Feeling like I'm progressing. I feel like every time I come back into the office to do something, or, you know, with the kids, there's always something to do.
Yeah.
Rather than feeling like you've ticked enough off, so you're actually moving forward to getting to a place where there's not so much to do, where you could just have a free day or a day off and not feel that guilt that comes up for, you know, that Friday and so forth.
And that's the crazy 8 cycle of I'll be happy when all the piles are done and then I can relax. I'll be happy when I've made this progress today and then I'm enough so I can actually just enjoy my own company. Here's the thing, unless we handle all of they're just symptoms, unless we handle the underlying beliefs and emotions, they're going to keep, here's the thing, the pile's going to keep coming.
Yes.
Are the kids going to keep creating mess?
Yes.
Are the lists going to keep happening?
Yes.
So what has to change?
My reaction to it and just accepting what is and knowing that what I'm getting done is enough, maybe.
Yeah. How's that worked for you?
Well, it doesn't, because it still keeps
right. It doesn't. So what has to really change? I want each of you to think about this. I'm not just speaking with Renelle and her personality that she's identified, that if she was actually able to upgrade this one, change this one, retire this one, you know, completely leave it behind or transform it into a more powerful one. How do you want to feel? You said progress, clarity, organized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to feel like I'm moving forward, right?
Yeah. And moving forward, how do you know that you're moving forward?
Because there won't be so many things to do. Or it maybe won't be the same stuff to do. Maybe that's what it is.
So what specifically? I just want to enter your world and see what you see for a moment. How do you know that you're moving forward? So at the end of the day, you've moved forward. What do you see? What do you feel? What's happened?
The list of people to contact or, you know, follow-ups and customer care is back to a steady pace of just being consistent then. Does that make sense? Rather than a backlog. I feel like I've got a backlog happening.
Does anyone else feel like that at the moment? I do, because we just added 1,500 new. I do. And so I got up this morning, and this is just real talk. I got up this morning going, I'm responsible for 1,500 people. I have to give them amazing belief. I have to give them a great product experience. Oh my God, what if they're not going to the right startups and someone's leading them down the garden path? And then I go, oh no, not her. That's the controller. The controller and the martyr. The controller's trying to control and has the illusion that she's in control of any of it. No, not in control of a thing, only how I choose to react and what I choose to focus on. I can't tell you how many times over the last year that I have to condition and recondition that thought. Mm-hmm. Am I really in control of anything? What's really going to change here, Linda? You or the world? Okay.
And so what just come up then was, is that enough? Because if I can't control it, fine, but then is what I'm doing enough?
Is that an empowering question? Is it the best empowering question, or is there a better one?
Yeah, there's definitely a better one.
I don't think it's the most powerful. I think it's better than there's always, you know, the statements of there's always so much to do, and, you know, when is it ever going to end? And, you know, why do they need me? Used to be my question. Because I set it up that way. So here's the thing. You know, what have I achieved? I had this experience yesterday. We all do. We keep going in it. And the thoughts, remember, be compassionate. This mind is amazing. You've all got this supercomputer who's always on high alert. Every waking moment, you are on high alert, so you stay alive. But if this is in the driver's seat for your business, for your family, even the piles adding up, it's just suffering. You're never going to be able to do enough in here. When you set up the rules of the game, that what am I prepared to happily achieve and create today? And then for the day, and this is so simple, you chunk your day into 3. Now we've got kids at home. So there's a new one for those of us that are homeschooling. And I said, now there's some new roles. So I'm introducing, here's how I handle it like this. I'm introducing a new personality, a new color code, and a new section of my diary every day, Monday to Friday. And it's probably going to be between, and we're just doing up our schedules today, it's probably going to be between 11 and 1:30 will be where I'm going to be school mama. And I'm going to know that that's our time to come together to get what's needed done. And so the rest of the day, I'm not going, I should be doing the teaching right now. I should be on 3-way calls right now. I should be doing laundry right now. It's scheduled and it's delegated. So we are, and I know exactly how you feel right now because I'm 3/4 of the way through the schedule and the plan and the whiteboard. But if we don't have a plan, my friends, we are stuffed. I promise you, we're stuffed. You must have a plan. You deserve one. So does everyone that you care about deserves it. This is your time to shine as a leader. Take control, get in charge, and say, this is how it's going to be. First of all, outcome. How do I want to feel today? I want to feel organized. I want to feel, remember I told you my ones. I start in that shower with, how do I want to feel today? What's my outcome today? I want to connect with the kids. You know, I look out and it's a horrible day. So the beach that was amazing yesterday and such a great top up for all of us, well, that doesn't look like a good go. So I'm already thinking, okay, we're going to go to the park at 3. 3 till 4 is outdoor activity, connect and play and have fun time. We're going to have to switch it. So you need flexibility in this too. So have a think of this as we finish up here, because this has been a big, long, I've introduced a lot of different concepts here, but I want you to know this. We don't have to overcomplicate this. Think of the 3 major personalities that are going to be really valuable in the driver's seat. And the ones who are creating havoc, literally start to see them and call them out and push them to the side and go, I'm not going to get anything done if I'm in overwhelm, olive overwhelm, like Olive, oh my God, it's never ending. You know, they're going to create more mess. Oh, look, I just cleaned this up and then here they come again. And that tension and conflict comes up again because it's not supposed to be how it's supposed to be. And the world is never going to abide by that. So we have to change. Yeah, we can't keep showing up with that. So if you're homeschool mum and you're organized and you're still in flow, you get to create her, Renelle. You get to name her. You get to consciously think with intention, how do I want her to show up? How do I want her to feel? What kind of things is she going to say? So when the old thoughts of there's always so much to do, when is it ever going to end? Where do I even start? What's the answer that you're going to come up with that's empowered so you can remind yourself, this personality is here.
I have to think a bit more about it, but I feel like just straight away off the top of my head, maybe I would say that she's doing the best that she can.
Yes, that makes me feel better. I'm able to just take the legs out of that straight away. I can collapse that and I'll go, I'm human. I'm doing the best I can with the resources that I have right now. I'm guided, I'm blessed, I'm loved, I'm connected, we shall prevail. I'm a leader of leaders, I'm an outstanding mum. I know what's truly important. It's all not going to be perfect. I'm going to stop expecting the house to be clean right now. I'm going to stop expecting, the kids to behave right now, because are they uncertain? Do they even know what the hell is going on? No. So then we turn to, so what's the value you need to embody for you right now, honey?
As in, what do I need to do?
When you can turn should, and then just come back to, what is this for yourself?
Well, just a matter of putting myself first every single day. So like making time for me, 10 minutes or 20 minutes to do yoga or something, so that I can just be in this space.
Self-love, self-compassion.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you this? So, compassion was the absolute game changer for me. Compassion to others when they're stressed. Compassion to my kids when they're not doing what I expect. And I got good at being compassionate to others, but I still wasn't good at being compassionate to me. And the compassion to me of, I'm human. And honestly, what am I actually in charge of? What do I actually influence every day? Not much. So I might as well enjoy what I can influence, which is how I choose to react, how I choose to show up, what I choose to focus on. And it all starts with loving me. This is really important work. So if today, imagine this, each of you can take compassion with you first and foremost. When you can start being compassionate with yourself and loving yourself and not be so hard on yourself, what kind of person are you going to start showing up as? And I promise that that's who people want to follow. That's who people want to join. That's who people want to do business with. That's who people want to hang around with. Make sense? They don't care if your house is organized. If you're that uptight, you can't even enjoy it. Same with your kids. It's all an illusion.
Nice, right?
It's all an illusion. It's an illusion of control when the laundry's done and this is done and this is done, because it's never going to stop coming. And there's going to be seasons of strategic imbalance. We're in a big season of strategic imbalance right now. It's go time, it's momentum. I've been calling in momentum for the past 3 months, asking every day, I'm ready. If I bitch and moan and complain that it's here, universe will take it away again. I'll get my butt kicked again. You know what I mean? So this is the realm of uncertainty. This is where we're riding the wave. If you think about the last 2 weeks of calls, we had Nima, in one of the earliest calls telling us that all the magic happens in the realm of uncertainty, because right now, Ranelle, and I'm not just speaking to you, I'm speaking to all of us, we have to let go of some stuff that no longer serves us. We have to let go of a lot of stuff so we can expand. We can't expand with the same old. So we're trying, most of us right now are trying on a new reality with the same old. It's not going to fit. You've got to let go of some stuff. We've got to be literally arms open, heart forward, going, what really matters right now? What's my truth today? Who do I love? Who loves me? What about that makes me happy? What does my heart seek for today? Who do I want to hang around with? Who do I want to go and love on? We get out of suffering, which is about me. When I have an organized laundry, when the kids have done their homework, when I've caught up on every single message, then I'll be enough, then I'll be loved. No. Take the shortcut and just go, we got this. We're amazing. We're doing the best we can with the resources we have, and we rock. I'm a leader of leaders. I know how to prioritize my day. I'm incredible at time management and do delegate dump. I ride, open-hearted in the realm of uncertainty, because that's where all my magic happens. You look back on any time in your life when big things have changed and called in, right before it happened, there's chaos and swirling and uncertainty and discomfort. Always. It's one of the universal laws. So we've got to love the discomfort right now. Lean into it. Go heart forward into it. I can't control it. I promise you we can't control it. It's the one thing I know to be true. We can't control it. So the things that give you certainty right now, Ranelle, make sure that they're the things that are good for you and good for others. Controlling the laundry is only good if you're setting up the rules of the game well, but your rules seem too strict. You're going to find it really hard to meet your rules for progress and order every day. Do you know what? What if your rules could be the kids get fed at some stage and the kids laugh at some stage. They probably will cry at some stage because they're kids. That's a great day above ground, being a school mama in big momentum. What if that could be the new productive? What would you need to create that rule? You'd need compassion. You'd need flexibility. You'd need, what else? Intelligence. You'd need to be in the moment. You'd need presence. Instead of worrying about the future, which doesn't exist, or the past, which is gone, an illusion. Half of our memories didn't even happen, don't even exist. So the past is 50% of what you think happened. How crazy is that? So this can't be the fuel. Forward and backward cannot be the fuel. It has to be in the realm of uncertainty today. And would you agree, there is so much amazing reminders to take us back to go within right now. Like, it is extreme. It's actually amazing. When we were at the beach yesterday, I just said to James, what a freaking gift this crazy time is. Like, we are here in the middle of the day at the beach. And here's the crazy thing. We could choose this every day if we wanted anyway, because we live at the beach. It's reminding me of the simplicity of joy in what you focus on and how you choose to react. Like, it's an amazing time. So we've got to set up the rules of the game to just love and be with our kids, to love what is. This is the time of Byron Katie work that I love more than anything. Thatwork.com, the work. Love what is. Just, what if there's a way that you can love the laundry piles at the moment? See them, wink at them, and say, I love you. I'm good with you. You're not going away. You're like death and taxes and laundry. There's those funny memes coming up. You know what's not cancelled? Laundry. Laundry is never cancelled, right? I love my unvacuumed floor. Exactly. I've got these dollar coins flying around for the kids because I can just get it done the easy way. I'm finding the easy. My husband says, find the easy. Find your easy that you love. I love motivating the kids, add value and I pay you. That's how the world works to me. Add value to me. Mum, how can I make money? You know the answer, add value. What can I do to add value? Clean my car. Okay, off they go. Get them to add value. They're all old enough to be contributing and they want to please you. They want to rise to the challenges. They want to add value. Not when we nag. Nagging Nellie's not going to get it done. But teacher mama is going to inspire them and remind them, you are so good at listening. I love what a great industrious cleaner you are. I was watching you earlier, and then they just like, they blow up by 10 times and then they just go crazy with the sponge. Rather than, here, you're doing it wrong, let me do it. Come and just breathe it into them how you want them to be. If they're a horrible listener, you say, you are so good at listening. I've really been observing. I'm loving hearing you listening at the moment. Our daughter's making Marley spoon dinner every night, and my husband's like, he just wants to come in and take it over. And I'm like, it's going to be messy. It's not going to be ideal, but let's breathe the belief of how we want her to feel, because she's creating an identity right now about what kind of cook she is. So I get to help her and James by going, you are amazing. This is incredible. You are quite the chef. I love how you just knew to put some salt in there. You're very intuitive. And they go like this, and they're taking on those beliefs. Now, when I'm not resourceful, I don't do all of that. I just go, like everyone else. But when you can slow down and be resourceful, it works. My 5-year-old irons school shirts. I love it. This is the gift and the opportunity with our kids right now. This is the gift. They don't know all of that other stuff out there, but they do know that they've got this unique time with their parents. And so when it's family time, make it family time. Phone in the drawer, no more calls, no more messages, put the should aside. Do your minimum every day. If it's 10 messages, the minimum. I'm going to be available and working from here to here. Schedule that in advance. Color code it. Okay? Now, I could do another whole 3 hours just on scheduling, but for those of you that this resonates with and you know that you really need to make changes here, I will put 3 links on my homepage. You're all following me on Facebook. I'll put it on there that there's goal setting, and then there's 2 on time management, where I do 30, 40 minutes on this exactly. Not the circles and personality, a little bit of personalities, but time management, do, delegate, dump, and color coding your diary to do the things that are most important. Most people are in total reaction, and their entire life is taken over by anyone who wants to take it over. And it all changes the minute that you are in the driver's seat of your time and you are living life by your highest values and your highest goals. And you say no to everything else that doesn't move you towards those. Does that make sense? So the 3 calls that I'm talking about take you through that process. That can be a game changer. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.